first off, I'm sitting here with Scalzo from Farewell at Last. How are you doing, and how are you feeling about the new project that dropped today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling really good about it. I'm feeling very confident. I was nervous all last night going up and just trying to go to bed and trying to ease my mind, but I was just really nervous because this is me. These are songs that I wrote. These are songs that I care about, and I was nervous, but now I'm feeling really good. The reaction's been really good, so I'm very happy with how things are going so far.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, what inspired you to create a project outside of American Airport Sushi, and what was like the process that went into that?
Yeah, the pandemic had a lot to do with it, and we weren't rehearsing. We as an American Airport Sushi weren't rehearsing. We weren't getting together, and I got bored, and I was bored and miserable and depressed. I had positive people around me, luckily, so I channeled all my anger and frustrations and whatnot, and I put it all into songwriting again, which is something I haven't done probably since before I joined American Airport Sushi. So I fell in love with it again, and I was just really hungry and really creative, and like there wasn't a moment I wasn't having a guitar in my hands or having a pen and paper in my hands, and I wasn't writing, and these are the songs that came out of it. So it's really good, and hopefully there's more to come.
Right on. So these 4 songs, did you make like just these 4 songs and you knew the EP was done, or did you have a couple other songs that didn't make the cut?
Oh yeah, no. When I went into it, I had intentions to do a full length, like 10, 12 song album. And the time wasn't on my hands with this because sushi was picking back up, and like things were going there, and I was being pulled here in my personal life, and just things weren't happening, and so I had to dwindle it down considerably. That's a word I don't know. I can't speak English, but I had to condense them down. So I did 4 of the best songs that I feel at the time that were ready to go, and they were Noise in My Head, Dead Man's Game, Some Other Day, and Sync. And I do have more. I do have more songs. Oh yeah, I do. So when they'll be recorded, when they'll be released, I couldn't tell you. It's just a matter of me finding the time to work on them and get in the studio again.
Right. So for someone who hasn't listened to this, I've got the pleasure to listen to it multiple times, and I'm definitely a fan.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. For someone who hasn't listened to this, how would you describe how this sound differs from what you've done with in the past or American Airport Sushi?
It's heavier. It's a lot more heavier. American Airport Sushi is a heavy band. It's a hard in your face rock band. This is more just like this hits you musically. Like it's just in your face attitude there, and just guitar driven, and it's the music I like. I like heavy music. I like hard rock music, and like this style of music that I write is what I identify with the most. So you're gonna get some Alice in Chains style vibes. You're gonna get some 3 Days Grace style vibes. You're gonna get some Trivium, Lamb of God style vibes, and you're gonna probably maybe even get some Blink-182 vibes. I don't know. It all depends on the listener and what they hear. So, but you're definitely gonna get vibes like that from me.
Right. Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of versatility with the record, and you yourself on this on Noise in My Head, you're singing, correct?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's your debut as a singer on the record.
On record, yes.
On record, yes.
On record, yes. You can go to YouTube on I don't even know if it's called Disaster Strike YouTube channel anymore, but it's under my own personal YouTube channel that's there. And there's a video of me singing. I think it's All Apologies by Nirvana.
Oh, okay.
So that was recorded when I was doing Disaster Strike back in the day, and that was a live setting. But yes, this is my first official recording as a singer, and so far no one has taken offense to it or been like, wow, you are really shit. So I will probably be doing more.
Yeah, I think it went well. Is that something during your downtime with the pandemic that you practice more? Or is this something that you've been practicing the whole time while you were playing guitar?
Yeah, when I was writing them, I did have my partner in this, Devin, as well, and he sings on 2 of the songs on the recording, and he's the guy I go to a lot for when I need a singer. But a lot of the time, like when I was demoing them, I was doing the vocals, and they're just scratch vocals or nothing like to write home about. But like with noise in my head, like I don't know, I just felt like that one was okay. That was one I wanted to try, and that was one I wanted to tackle. It was one I felt most comfortable doing, and I really wanted that like early 2000s Alice Cooper vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Planet or the record Brutal Planet. Or Welcome to Dragon Town. Welcome to Dragon Town. I don't know. My memory's not super.
I'm not actually, but
no, yeah. Well, okay. They're heavy Alice Cooper records,
Yeah.
and like that was kind of the vibe I got from this song. I was like, this is something that could have been off that era, and I kind of wanted to do a vocal delivery in that style, and I'm happy with it. So
yeah, I think that's great. Are you looking forward to performing any of these live, and specifically that one if you're gonna sing live? Does that make you kind of nervous, or?
No, it's not. It doesn't make me nervous, really. It's just a whole other thing to think about doing live and whatnot. But like this being into a live band is not really on the table right now with me. It wrestles in my head every day. It wrestles in my head every day about how I would like to make this into a live band, but it's just a matter of finding the time and finding the musicians, and then because it's a lot of work that goes into
Yeah,
this.
I can imagine.
But eventually there'll be a show. I don't know if it'll be in this year, maybe in 2022, but I would like to get some musicians together and do a band.
For sure. So yeah, you, Devin, and Luca, like you all have different roles throughout this project. How and why do you think you guys work well as a team? Why do you think you work well as a team?
Why we work well as a team?
Yeah.
We just have, there's just a chemistry. Luca and I, like, we like the same style of music. We're big metal heads, and like when we're together and we're having a few cold ones, we're not afraid to talk about, Iron Maiden or, the weirdest of symphonic metal bands that no one's ever heard of. And then we'll go deep and we'll talk about that. And it's like, it's what we like. And then Devin and I, like, we've been best friends for a while. Like Devin and I, we did Disaster Strike for a number of years, and we just grew this friendship and this connection, and as songwriters as well. And it just is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do more music with Devin because I felt like with Disaster Strike, we didn't really get to that level of where we can go. And now I think we're trying, and we're going to work to getting to that level because I know we got a lot of good stuff ahead. But yeah, it's just we all have a chemistry, and like Devin and Luca have chemistry because they're in Blood Wolf Moon. They're in that band, and that's a killer band as well. And they got some killer stuff coming their way too with their second record, which I'm stoked about. So yeah, it's just all three of us. Like we all have like-headed minds, and we just work well.
That's awesome. During the process of making the EP, did you come across like many challenges, or were there stuff that you learned that you think is benefiting you going forward?
There weren't really many challenges. The only thing that was challenging was just trying to get in there and find time to do it, because as I was doing this, like Sushi was ramping up, and but a lot of the time it's just me. So it's just me going in, and I recorded the guitars and recorded the basses, and that was that. So it was challenging, but it wasn't, I guess you could say.
Right. So of the 4 songs, do you have one that stood out to you, or is your favorite to make, and your favorite song overall?
Well, Sync was the first one that's ever been written. Sync's the oldest one, actually. Like that was written when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
Written that long ago, because it was intended for Disaster Strike, and I have recordings of us when we were in Disaster Strike doing it in rehearsal space, and I'm teaching the guys like these are the chords here, this is the solo section, this is the melody I have in mind for the lyrics, and but it never took off with that band, and that band folded, and then I joined American Airport Sushi, and then I picked up the guitar again and started working on this project, and then Sync was one that I was like, I'm gonna turn this into something. So that one is close to my heart, and I'm very happy with how it turned out with the recording, and Devin killed it on the vocals, and we killed it on the production as well. I'm very happy with that, but that one I would say for sure is the one that means the most.
Right on, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So when you're making this, like I get a sense of letting go and separation, some of the themes that I picked up on while listening to it.
Yep.
Do you think that you consciously had those themes in mind that maybe someone will relate to this? Like it's a relatable topic and that could be a good thing.
I'm sure, absolutely. Music is like, everybody can interpret it differently.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beautiful thing about music. But yeah, definitely that is a major part of the theme because, going through this pandemic, like I went through, like there's a lot of stuff that happened in my personal life that it was just like back and forth of, positivity and then negativity, and you have good days and you have bad days and you have days where you're struggling and days when you're not struggling. And it's like, it was a whirlwind, and this was the way I was able to channel all those feelings of uncertainty and doubt.
Right.
And, and some days there are a struggle than others still, it's a part of life and growing up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So releasing the EP, was that kind of just like or I guess making it and then releasing, was that kind of just like a weight off your shoulders? Like this is out in the world now. I've got to, let go of this.
It feels good. Like,
Yeah, it must be a great feeling.
It does feel good. It feels good releasing music all the time. Like even with Sushi when we release stuff, like it feels good. Like the success we're having right now with Space Salsa, it's growing pretty good every day, which we're happy about. So it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling no matter what. Whether you wrote it, whether someone else wrote it, whether if you had a hand in recording it, it's a tremendous feeling. And then getting the positive feedback from friends, family, people you've never met.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, before you released it, was like, were you sending this out to connections, mutual connections in the music industry that you might know that be like, hey, what do you think of this, or that kind of thing?
Yeah, not so much in the industry per se, but the local scene here. Like I said, to a few guys I can trust, and a few like really talented musicians and really talented songwriters and people that I look up to and whatnot. So I sent it to them and just said like, what do you think of this? Can I get your feedback and whatnot? And like guitar teachers of mine I've sent it to just to be like, hey, you taught me well, or this is like all those hours of going over scales has paid off to this. And it's been rewarding, and it's been motivating for sure.
Yeah. So you mentioned the local music scene. I'm sure that you have a pretty good knowledge of that. For people who don't know, how talented is the Windsor's music scene, and how do you think you fit or stand out in that scene?
Oh man, the scene here is it's talented. Like there is a lot of talent in this city, and a lot of talent. Like a lot of guys that I know don't even play in bands, and they're just talented. And I'm just like, man, like what the hell are you doing playing this in your room? Like get out there and form a band or something, or get out there and do acoustic shows or whatnot. Because there's a lot of talent here. But the Windsor music scene, like it's something to behold. It really pisses me off. Like people say like all the time, like, oh, I live in Windsor, there's nothing to do. And I'm just like, motherfucker. Like there are shows going on like every weekend. Like get your ass downtown.
Yeah.
Go check out a live band. Go check out a local band. Go support them because you're gonna get a good show no matter what.
Yeah.
It's always entertaining. Like I'm going out tomorrow night to some shows around.
Yeah.
So it's like it's always a good time.
Yeah. So you think an artist in this area or a new band, like if they put the work in, they have a chance to succeed. Like this is a better area. This is a good area.
It's a good area. It's a good area, but it's also like we're in the digital age.
True.
Like we got social media at our hands. It's a matter of how you use it, and if you know what the hell you're doing, then you can succeed. So that's kind of my mentality and my opinions, I guess you could say of that. But no, the Windsor music scene, like it's really talented, and I've said this on a podcast before too, where it's like, there's a lot of talent in the city, and there's something good in the water here. I don't know what it is, but like everyone I know has played in a band or has done wonders and whatnot, whether you're 20 years old or 40 years old, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about what you might be thinking in the future for this project. Like these songs are very good, but I'm wondering if one of these songs or a few of these songs would translate to a music video. Is that something you want to do in the future?
Yeah. There's a few I'm thinking of off the top of my head that would do really well. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into detail about
Right,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, there's some that I would consider doing. There's a lyric video out right now for "Noise in My Head," which which Devin, my best friend and singer in this project, did as well. So he did a good job on that. It's out now on the official YouTube channel. So
Right on, right on. So the artwork of the album,
yeah.
what does that mean to you, and what is the I guess the hand out of the water? What does that represent to you?
To me, like that, when I look at that, like I fell in love with that artwork when it was sent to me from Chase and Ben at 839 Media. And, I fell in love with that because I look at that and I just see like sort of like a rebirth type thing, like a chance to starting new. And like when the birds are flying up from the hand, it's like you're letting go of that, those demons and all those things and those negative feelings that are holding you back and holding you down. And it's sort of like a cleansing and starting new. So that's why kind of like farewell at last. It's like saying farewell to everything in your past and like looking forward to the future.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the name of the EP and band. Were there other names that came to mind at first that you were considering, or when you guys came up with this one, was that like just this is the one we know for sure?
We were hit, like Devin and I were going back and forth and brainstorming names and whatnot, and it was him that brought up Farewell at Last, and like I was thinking about it, and I was kind of like, it's a little too long, but American Airport Sushi's a long name, and Blood Wolf Moon's a long name, and I'm like, it works. So, and then like able to like further think about it more and further realize like, what these songs mean to me and whatnot, and where I was at a point in time. It just made so much sense. It just made so much sense to go with that, and it was the right call. It was the right call to go with that name.
Yeah. So the songs on the EP mostly are pretty heavy, but I noticed Some Other Day is kind of like a different vibe than the rest of the songs. Yeah. I kind of hear some punk rock influence in that.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting. And what was the motivation to change up a little bit with that song?
You can't be so negative all the time. You got to have some sort of positivity and hope. And with that one in particular, it's just like, right place, wrong time type thing. Like right person, wrong time type thing. So it's like, okay, some other day. Or maybe there's another, chance in the future for something to come about.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the one thing I think people can relate to, me talking about it and whatnot. It's just like now's not the right time, but who knows down the line what could happen.
There's hope for the future.
There's hope for the future. Yeah.
Right on. So how long have you been making music, and when did you know that this is what I want to do? Like, this is what I want to do for my life?
When I was 3 years old. Many people have heard this story. So when I was 3 years old, I was just hanging with my dad upstairs, and we'd just gotten satellite TV. So they're flipping through the channels, and there's one channel where it was playing Kiss Symphony. And this is when the band did a show with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh.
So I was like, wait a minute, go back to that. What is this going on? This is crazy. They're all wearing these crazy costumes and they all got makeup on. I'm like, are they actually like that? Like, is this like what people really look like? Do people look like this? And I was just intrigued by it. So that was on like 24/7 in the house, just watching that. And, I started mimicking like, what Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons were doing and like playing that. And from then on, I just took a liking to music, and it didn't matter like what it was in the house. Like my mom was a big country music fan. She played a lot of country music. She played a lot of Croatian music because she was Croatian. So a lot of Croatian music was played in the house. It was just music. Mm-hmm. So then I took a liking to it, and developed an ear for it. Developed an interest in guitar early on. And I started going for lessons when I was in 5th or 6th grade. So I started going then, and I made a lot of sacrifices too, because I wanted to get really good at that thing.
Yeah.
So didn't go to a lot of parties, didn't go to a lot of family functions because it was just like I want to practice, I want to play, I want to learn, I want to get better at this. I want to go on tour with Kiss. I want to do this. I want to do that. But and I didn't start taking it seriously until I got into high school because that's when I got into playing with other people. Like I started playing in the concert band and the jazz band. I started doing guitar for the choir and this and that. And then I started getting better and comfortable at gelling with people and playing in live settings. And then I did Disaster Strike all throughout high school and still worked and still practiced at my instrument and eventually transitioned to bass. And here I am today, and it's just proof that, you work hard enough and you keep working at it and, you can work at making your dreams come true.
That's awesome. That's very inspiring.
I'm still working at it. I'm still working away on it. So the dreams.
I feel like you never stop working at that.
Oh, you never do. You never do. It's a drug. It's an addiction.
Yeah.
It really is an addiction.
But it's a good addiction. That's not a bad thing
at all.
Addiction. Yeah.
There are way worse addictions you can have. But it's an addiction that I'm never going to go to rehab for, that's for sure.
Yeah, your friends ever get into it? Like, oh, I can't hang out, man. I got to make the music.
They know. Because it's been the long-running joke, like my high school friends that I had. They just don't invite me because they know two things. He's either working or he's either out with the band.
Yeah.
So, and those are the two legitimate reasons why I didn't come hang out that night or whatnot.
Right.
Either working or with the band doing stuff.
Yeah. You're a busy man.
Right.
So I was wondering, like, you play guitar and bass and acoustic guitar, and now you sang on the record. Are there any other instruments that you play or that you want to learn and improve upon?
I wouldn't mind getting better at drumming.
Yeah.
Like my brother's got a kit around the house, so every now and then when he's not home, I'll go on there and I'll play a few beats and have some fun and try working on it. But that's one I wouldn't mind spending a little more time on because I think it can come in handy one day with me. But the guitar and bass, I play every day.
Yeah.
Every day I'm practicing. Every day I'm working on stuff or working on American Airport Sushi songs or learning covers or whatnot. So I'm playing every day.
Yeah, right. Do you think it's important to, obviously you want to keep perfecting those talents, which are something that you're used to and you built on, but do you think it's important to add the other stuff like drums or say piano to your versatility as a musician?
Yeah, the more you know, the more versatile you are as a musician. So it does help. One instrument I really wanted to learn was the violin. And it still is the violin. I think that's a killer instrument. I'd love to learn it. It's just a matter of finding the time. So.
Right, yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed that instrument, and it's one I wouldn't mind learning. Like I know friends of mine that play it as well, so it's just a matter of, putting down the credit card and going along with the equation and being like, I'll take that, please.
Yeah.
Which I have no problem doing.
All right, just a few more questions.
Yeah, no problem.
One of the, obviously the EP's 4 songs is pretty short, 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you think that's could be good for the first time listener, that it'll give it replay value and maybe that they'll get closer to the songs?
For sure, absolutely. We live in the age where, people want stuff in small doses type of deal. So it makes sense for, me just starting out with this to do, here's just 4 songs, let's see how they do and whatnot. And if it's good, then I'll do more. If it's not good, then okay, I'll continue working away at it and then try again later. But, I think that's good. That's a good amount of time. 4 songs for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And, people can go listen to them on repeat and, they get to choose their favorites.
Yeah. So another theme of the EP I get is pretty dark and heavy, right? And I'm wondering if it was a conscious decision that, hey, this is spooky season, October. We should release this in October. Or did that not really play a role in it?
No, it didn't really play a role in it. It was basically like I was hemming and hawing. I was like, do I wait and put it out in the new year? Do I just put it out now because I had it all done? And then I was thinking about, where we're at with American Airport sushi, and I didn't want anything to overlap and be like, hey, look at this here, look at that here. And it kind of did with the release of Space Salsa, but that's okay. But, I just wanted it out before anything with American Airport Sushi did, because that will take up a considerable amount of my time.
Right.
And so I just said, like, October, the month of October, let's aim for that. Originally, I wanted it out October 29th, and then I was like, no, let's get it out sooner. So October 8th, it's finally out.
Rock on.
Thank you.
All right, so what are you looking forward to in the future, musically and personally, and maybe what can fans expect from you?
I don't know. I'm just, hoping that, I kind of am still working on music and still learning and still being creative as much as possible. I think I have to do that. I think that's one of the reasons why I stay sane and why I still like being alive.
Yeah.
Every day is a blessing to be alive, which is good. So, I just want to stay happy as much as possible, because now I'm in a good place where I'm motivated to do stuff. I'm happy. I'm healthy. So definitely just gonna keep living. That's all I can do, is just keep living life.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I want to thank you for taking the time to do the interview.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And everyone go stream Farewell at Last.
Yeah.